This week, the German Parliament marks Holocaust Memorial Day with a special tribute to the makers of the Holocaust, as Friedrich Merz reneged on his own promise from 2 months ago and made common cause with fascists to degrade the German constitution. Meanwhile, Meghan and Konrad review election campaign posters and cling helplessly to their brand new good news section. Resistance.
In Berlin's heart, where news is unveiled, Meghan and Konrad with German tales. The German news, it's tough to bear, but with Megacans, they're ready to help. Konrad, daily news at hand. Meghan feels to spare time to crack those cans. With each sip she takes, the mag is her shield, but will it last the news? 'Cause that was the deal.
Hello everyone, it's time for another episode of Megan's Megacan. Yay! This is Megan in Berlin trying to be positive and I'm with Konrad Werner, luckily. Hi Konrad.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay. Slightly, still a bit croaky. Apologies if you were expecting us to record last week, but I was laid low by a virus of some sort.
You were quite sick. We're very glad that you're back to almost full health.
I was high on paracetamol this time last week rather than Megacans.
Oh.
So, and sort of delirious and sweating, and you know when your hands are really cold and your head's really hot. Do you ever have that?
Poor thing, that sounds horrible. And yeah, we need you to carry this. It's not like you can just, you're the main draw.
Anyway, I'm better now.
Speaking of health, would you like a Megacan?
Yeah, that'll make me feel better.
As we all know, I have, or maybe not, I have a sort of a theory. We're drinking rum today, and we're drinking rum because it's all gone a bit Pete Tong, to use a reference that many people won't get. So my theory on rum drinkers, very much like them, but they're also kind of mad and not to be trusted. So I think it's good to lean in.
Great, yes.
To those vibes. We have a choice. Havana Club. These are also one of the few Megacans, even though they're tall, skinny ones, which I don't like, they are $3.30.
Okay.
Would you prefer Havana Club and cola or Cuban spiced and cola? But I will read this out because I think you tasted this before and you hated it. It's Cuban rum with cola and tropical fruits and spices. Is that? Yeah. Yeah.
I could do with the caffeine in the
Absolutely,
in the cola.
You can have the cola.
Okay. Excellent, thank you.
Megacans, particularly in today's economic climate, are of course made possible, along with all the rest of this, from our very lovely patrons. If you want to not sponsor us, offer us your patronage, you can do so on Patreon.
If you want to patronize us,
please. Thank you very much to Allegra and Mahmoud, who have joined the ranks of our patrons.
Yeah.
This is courtesy of you, so thank you.
Thank you, yeah. Find us on patreon.com.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Smells all right.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was expecting. Thank you. I'm glad you're back.
This is not good.
Dear.
I quite like the can, though. It's got kind of like graphic sort of shapes and nice sort of, I guess, Caribbean colours.
Yeah, it's a bit 80s, the can.
It does look very 80s in a sort of cool way. But
like a Miami 80s club.
It tastes a bit like the 80s. Very artificial.
Right.
Okay.
It's a bit weird that they don't say which tropical fruits. So they're very non-specific.
I think, right. So it says tropical fruits and spice aromas. I think that aroma, so flavouring, is linked to the fruits and the spices. Nothing in this can has come close to what could be described as a fruit.
No.
I don't think. Tropical or no, I am
Do you think they
skeptical.
use the same stuff for the shampoo factory next door?
100%.
They said,
I'd almost rather drink... What was that shampoo that made in the 80s and 90s kind of made your hair go all... What was it?
Timotei.
Yes, that woman in the beautiful
waterfall.
Woman in the waterfall. I would almost rather drink a bottle of Timotei than choke this time. Anyway, speaking of disgusting things, what have German politicians been up to this week?
Well, yesterday, the Bundestag decided to mark the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz by bringing in an extra 5-point plan that was more or less a tribute to the Nazi Party of 1933, the famous one, which obviously they went on to
Sorry, if
start
I'm
Auschwitz.
laughing, it's because it's just so fucking... I don't know what else to do. Sorry.
This was Friedrich Merz, the leader of the CDU. He had his 5-point plans. Do you want to know what the 5 points are?
Yep.
Number 1, permanent border controls at all German borders.
Class.
Number 2, consistent rejection of all attempts at illegal entry. Number 3, de facto entry ban for persons without valid documents. Number 4, immediate detention of persons required to leave the country. I'll stop doing a Nazi voice.
The voice isn't even necessary, is it? It's pure fucking Nazi bullshit.
And number 5, tightening of the right of residence for criminals and those who pose a threat to the public. So not even just criminals, anyone who is deemed to pose a threat to the public. And as we know, this was only passed through the Bundestag by 3 votes, a majority of 348 MPs in favour, 345 against, and 10 abstaining. And it was only passed with the help of the AfD, the party that is now taking up the baton dropped by Hitler in 1945. So there we go.
Yeah.
And this is, and you know it's bad when Angela Merkel wades in today.
Oh, God.
She released a statement. It was rather
Angela
long.
Merkel doesn't do this for people who are... She's
No.
not like a UK politician, not like a normal politician. Do you remember in COVID when she went on the telly to talk to us and she nearly cried, and that scared the absolute fucking shit out of me. So this is bad. And she's in retirement now.
Yeah. She's like, Jesus, guys, had my feet up on a poof.
Yeah.
So she felt moved to wade in today, and it was actually quite an interesting statement. It's 3 paragraphs, and the first one takes up half of it, and the first one most of it is a quote from Friedrich Merz from the 13th of November 2024, in which she said, on the 13th of November 2024, Merz addressed the parliament and said the following. There's a long quote which basically says, I am appealing to you, the Social Democrats, and you, the Greens, to join me in promising not to pass any resolutions or laws which will require a majority of the AfD. This is what Merz said on the 13th of November. And Merkel said, I very much supported Merz when he said this. I thought this was a great expression of great statesmanship. And now I see that he's gone back on his word, and I'm very disappointed. And she also said that these points would not resolve any of the issues that he raises and probably make things worse.
Yeah, because obviously Merz is kind of politicizing and capitalizing on their pretty awful attacks that have happened recently. The latest one being in Aschaffenburg, where a very mentally unwell person with migration background killed a kid in a park. Anyway, but again, this is not going to solve this problem.
No.
We know all of this. I don't know, like I'm a bit annoyed with some of the response that I've heard to it, which is all this kind of like, oh, but you said you wouldn't work for the AfD or with the AfD, and I'll maybe say something, can talk about that in a second, like why this is what they call a Tabubruch, like this is breaking a taboo. But like this is also just disgusting and against all of our values as Democrat. Like it's the people have a right to asylum, whether they show up with the right fucking documentation or not, and it
And it's also, and the other thing is that Merz has always been said, like, I am a great European. He started his political career in the European Parliament, and a lot of people pointed out that this is essentially contravening a lot of EU law. Mm-hmm. And he knows that, and he's sort of acknowledged that this is going to be really difficult. Like, this is something that was passed as a resolution. It's not actually a law yet. But the idea is that he wanted to make a statement saying this is what I'm going to do. If he gets into power, he probably will have the majority to do it. But again, he will need the votes of the AfD, as the SPD and the Greens and the Linke voted against it. And Yeah, I mean, it's just a dark day, a terrible day, a day that everyone said wouldn't happen, and it has now unduly happened. Yeah, and it's probably just a matter of time. Now they're sort of saying, oh, it doesn't mean that he's going to form a coalition with the AfD after the election, but how can we trust anything that the CDU says? I just don't know.
Exactly. First of all, there's the matter of trust, as Merkel has pointed out, like this man cannot be trusted. And we know, look at the looks of him. You can't hear 4 words out of his slimy little mouth, and you know that he's not to be trusted. He worked for fucking BlackRock, for fuck's sake. This is not someone who is like built upon strong moral foundations. And also, as the AfD ripped the piss out of him, from what I understand, in the Bundestag yesterday, basically just being like, yeah, you've copied all our points, even if you say, and because he's like, oh, but in the text of the thing, I actually specifically say that we don't want something like the AfD, but we need to, anyway, you're still giving them exactly what they want. And then they just jeer and laugh, make you a mockery, make a mockery of the right of asylum, make a mockery of our constitution, none of which they believe in. And you're all going, but I didn't, he said, I'm not going to look left or right, I'm just looking forward. And the right thing is the right thing, even if the wrong people are doing it. I'm like, no. When it comes to things that people are saying, hey, the Nazis would have said that word for word, that's not the fucking right thing to do. Oh, God, he's such a... It's worse than I thought it was going to be. I thought he'd realised, because he did then back down a little bit when that real populist stuff wasn't getting him anywhere, and then he starts sort of saying more reasonable things. And I can't work out what this move is, because he's already a shoo-in for Chancellor. He's so far ahead in the polls. Yeah. SPD, like the ample parties, for better or worse, have fucked themselves.
Do you want to know the latest polling figures?
Oh, I think I know them, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, two polls that came out today was that CDU on 29 or 30%, second place AfD on 21 or 20%, SPD 15%, Greens 14 or 15%, and then you've got 3 parties that are hovering on the 5%. That's the Linke, the FDP, and the BSW, which are all very much, it's going to be very interesting to see which of those parties get into the parliament. But there hasn't been that much movement. I mean, in the last few days, it's always been about those numbers. There haven't. It's always sort of stuck at those things. Yeah, but it's like the CDU is like 10 points clear at the moment. Yeah. And as you said, the problem is now, like, if he wants to pass this, he will need votes from presumably his own government. He's going to have to form a coalition with 2 other parties, because it looks like one isn't going to be enough. The SPD won't be enough to form a coalition with, so it'll have to be SPD and the Greens maybe to form a coalition. And they've already voted against this, and they were all, and in the debate yesterday they were like condemning, saying this is like they're breaking a taboo, and they were like roundly condemning this move and saying that the CDU had now broken out from the centre ground that it always says it was supposed to be a part of. So who's he going to form a coalition with? That's the problem now. I don't see how he's going to get this. It's like he's painted himself into a corner. I don't know. Yeah, it seems a very strange move to me. I think maybe he's someone who likes himself and likes power, and is maybe looking around at these other Trump kind of figures and going, right, what's really popular? What are people really liking at the moment? Oh, Islamophobia, cool. So he's just trying to maybe consolidate his image as I don't know, but it's scary. It is really scary. Everything is scary at the moment. Any good news? Okay. No, we are going to have, don't worry everyone, we're going to have a good news section. Okay. And we actually have 2 pieces of good news, so you can hold on. We've just got to get through talking about the election for a little moment, and then you can all relax. So, what we were going to do last week, we were going to review campaign posters. Yes. Have you seen any campaign posters that you... Too many. Have you seen any that you... I was going to say, have you seen any that you like? There's a one... The worst... As I had this horrible realization, the FDP ones are the only ones that look to me like they've been done by like a professional graphic design team or like some kind of design team that have looked at something since 1995. Yeah. And then you read the text and you just
he's done again. It's very similar to what they did in the election that went really well for them, wasn't it? When they got back into...
Well, the last one. Yeah, I mean, it looks like they just used the same posters. I can't...
Yeah. I mean, it did seem to work. They look good, but if I see his fucking little face and one of them says something like, you need to give everything, even at your job. I'm like, you just got fired for being a little shit and your boss publicly fucking ripped you a new one and most of Germany applauded because we were so sick and we know what it's like to work with colleagues like that, and now you're up on a poster telling me to give everything at my job. Go fuck yourself, Christian.
You are referring to Christian Lindner, the former finance minister and leader of the FDP. Just
the most famous unemployed man in Germany.
Yeah.
And that is an insult to unemployed people.
Also, what do you think about the black and white? The photos are all in black and white.
Yeah.
I don't know. That always makes me think that he's died. Do you know, like whenever I see all the FDP posters, they have the candidates in black and white, and it's like when they do an obituary in on a newspaper. I thought, well, who's died?
Like a little death notice. Okay,
yeah.
so
anyway, but he's still alive. Just to be clear, no one's dead.
Yeah, and we don't wish death on anyone.
No. The other slogan is Vaterstaat ist nicht dein Erziehungsberechtigter. The father state is not your legal guardian.
Yeah, that's just
doing his smug little face with a polar neck jumper on.
Oh, polar neck. God. He's trying to look like Steve Jobs, I think.
Yeah.
Like
possibly,
not Elon Musk, but Steve Jobs.
Yeah, he's reaching
he
back
said something like,
further with the tech.
Schöne Reden ist keine Wirtschaftslösung, or something like nice speeches or nice talk is not a economic solution.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So FDP, fine. Let's talk maybe about we probably know what AfD are doing. I haven't actually seen very many AfD posters, interestingly.
Well, possibly you don't live in AfD.
Well, no, I work in Pankow.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing I can say about the AfD posters is that they're all a bit like suspiciously smiley and happy. There's definitely a tone change now that they're on 20% rather than 10%, which is last election. There's much more of a sort of this positive vibe they were trying to give out. This idea like now it's time for us, and they're no longer these sort of angry protests. They're not going for the protest vote anymore.
No.
They're definitely going for the everyone vote.
Yeah, and Friedrich Merz is helping them by taking their policies and pushing them through the Bundestag.
Yeah, SPD meanwhile.
Oh, God.
I've gone for the interesting QR code.
I want to preface all of this with, and I am not telling people what to vote or how to vote or whatever, but I am very aware that anyone remotely who could be considered at this point, not even on the left, but like not actively wanting to do fascist shit and who cares about human rights, I don't want to be tearing any of those things apart. And I will say that the SPD, have you got a poster in front of you? Which one are you... This is obviously a visual. This is working great on a completely auditory medium. So
this is one I picked. Wir kämpfen für Dich
und Deutschland. Talk us through that. I haven't... That's quite a good one. He looks a bit fascist, Olaf.
Well, you'll notice very prominent was the Germany flag behind him.
Yep, big flag.
Because he's the Chancellor and he wants to say, I represent Germany. So there's a big Germany flag. The red part of the flag is very big because the SPD is the red colour. One thing I would say about this poster is his head looks a little bit big for the rest of his body.
But I think that's just Olaf, no?
I don't know.
Or is it the other way around? Have they overcorrected?
He might have.
I haven't seen very much of him.
He does look a little bit Hobbit-like in this. But I don't know.
It's strong. It's Deutschland.
Quite belligerent tone. Are you fighting on our side? It says. Click here. There isn't a QR code on this, but a lot of the posters have QR codes on.
Oh, they do, and it's the whole focus of the poster.
And it's the whole focus of the post. I mean, people always complain about Germany's parties and Germany's government not being in the digital age enough, and there's all these jokes about fax machines. So at least they tried to have a digital. I think they were trying to do like a digital forward-looking campaign. Have you tried to...
Yes, I have. I have come
Stand.
off the pavement. I have gone through one of those little things, like, you know, when they make like a little flower bed around the tree on the pavement.
Right.
I've stood almost on that thing and held my phone up to at least 2, if not 3 of these posters walking down from work. Research for last week I did this. No.
Didn't work?
No. Doesn't register on my camera as a QR code.
Oh.
I'm so sorry,
not
SPD.
ideal.
I do still think that they are, you know, not bad.
Yeah.
Don't. But
I mean,
maybe,
yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's
Maybe it was too high up?
a fucking election poster. They're designed to go on lampposts. You can't then say, oh, you need to get closer, because I can't get any closer unless I have a ladder.
Okay.
And
that's
it's the whole
not
focus
practical.
of the thing. It's like scan and vote for SPD. So it's not just like a little bit that's... It's really bad.
Well,
And
I
also,
heard
like,
that the QR code is supposed to lead to their manifesto, right? Probably with their own 5-point
I don't
plan.
know. I couldn't use it. It doesn't work.
And the idea behind it was, apparently, that's what I heard on another podcast, another politics podcast, was that they could then react to any changing issues by, if you go on the thing, that they would have a different message depending on what had happened that day. They
Oh,
would
that's a really cool idea.
that's so they would be able to, so you can, it's supposed to be like a flexible election campaign.
But unless it's scanning and going right to your TikTok, you are not ahead of the digital age.
Well,
The
yeah.
only time that millennials, like now, their voter base really, we can think of QR codes reminds us of Corona times. And we hated that.
Yeah.
Scan in here, do this, do that. No, thank you.
So against that, on the other end of the digital spectrum was the Green Party,
Oh, Christ.
who I thought they were very courageous election campaign. where
That's
they had,
one fucking word for it.
Well, there was like they had no message about what they're going to do or anything like that. They just had a picture of their 2 main candidates, their 2 most famous people, the leading candidate.
They
Robert
have it
Habeck.
on all the candidates, like
Oh, yeah.
this idea, but I think they maybe say slightly different things. But yes, you're right. Sorry. So it's either Habeck or lovely Annalena.
Yeah.
She looks lovely. She's a
Yeah.
she's a very beautiful woman. Sorry,
Especially-
that's really... I'm a bit drunk. Let me have some fun. Can you not even compliment a beautiful woman anymore? What is the world coming to? This is all woke nonsense. Sorry, I'm just going to be over here complaining about QR codes
Well, she's
and
especially-
objectifying Annalena Baerbock.
Well, she's especially beautiful on this because it's a very airbrushed photo.
It is. It's like a
As it
magazine.
is- As is the one of Robert Habeck, because there's sort of this airbrushed, like a lot of German. I don't know if you ever go to a paper shop in a train station in Germany. That a lot of the magazine covers are just like one famous person airbrushed.
Yeah.
In a kind of just like, and it looks a bit like that.
Yes.
And then it says underneath, ein Mensch, ein Wort.
Yes.
And the Wort is Zuversicht.
There's different words, I
Okay.
think. Annalena has something different, but Habeck is definitely Zuversicht, which is, what is it, confidence? What?
Yeah, trust.
Oh, trust, like, you should trust in me.
Yeah.
I would, Robert. And again, not saying you shouldn't vote. Go for them. Like, I think on the left, the time of us nitpicking who is left enough, who is not. If you are like actively not a fascist and you're going to be able to actually be a Brandmauer, fucking vote for these people. We can't. It's horrible and it shouldn't be happening. But
Yeah.
that is, I think, the situation that we are now.
Yeah, I think the time for
Nuanced debate of left-wing politics, nah.
No. I mean, you just got to make some compromises these days, and if
And
the
they are
compromise is
horrible compromises. All of the
That's,
centre parties in Germany have absolutely disgraced themselves over the genocide in Gaza. And that's disgusting. And it's going to be so much worse for so many more people. That is just a thing. I don't know. Anyway, Habeck is doing such weird shit though. Why are you doing those weird social media videos? Kitchen table, throwing a napkin over a camera with no explanation as to what on earth your
Yeah.
point is. And then
he's very confident. I feel like it's like he's not even saying what he's going to do. He's just like saying,
He's-
"Vote for me because I'm cool."
but
So,
is how out of touch is he?
Yeah.
That's what slightly scares me about Habeck. I'm just like, I wonder if he's had a breakdown. No, I don't like to do like literal armchair psychology of people, but he doesn't seem...
He might have had a breakdown. Well, we'll check on him. Someone's got to go and check on him. And let it be us. So moving on.
Any other... right. Well, what have you got next? Show me another one.
Well, very much the other end of this. So other parties have decided to go more with the message rather than the person. For example, the BSW. Obviously, the BSW is all about Sarah Wagenknecht, so it is a person. But they have put a message on each poster. And, for example...
Oh, yeah. You sent me a series of these.
So they all start with the same words, which is "Our country deserves more," and then there's another things underneath. So, in the one I'm looking at now, it says "Our country deserves more teachers and doctors."
Yeah.
And then in another typescript underneath, it says, "But the old parties have failed!" Exclamation mark.
Yeah.
Then another one is "Our country deserves more flats, living space." Not living space, that's Nazi. The Wohnungen, living rooms,
No, flats, you're right.
Flats, yeah.
An apartment is a Wohnung. Yeah.
But the other...
It's hard to tell which populist parties are actually using the Nazi words, which ones are using the GDR words.
Yeah. And then it said, the third one is... Then says, rather than says our country deserves more, it says our country wants less migration. Also with another picture of Sarah Wagenknecht doing a slightly more serious face.
I really like that they're in the photo shoot, and obviously they're Bündnis Sarah Wagenknecht, considering her name is in the title. And also, I think we need to be wary of people that name their parties after themselves.
Well,
I'm even wary of people who throw parties and they're supposed to be the center of focus rather than making sure everybody has a nice time.
Is that what it's like? Do you feel like you've been invited to?
I don't ever want to go to a party with this bitch. No.
And she's like, she says, what did you get me for my present?
No, exactly. Or like, oh, why are you 20 minutes late? Okay. So
different kind of party.
It's obviously the same photo shoot. She's wearing weird clothes. She's always seems to be cosplaying as some kind of like sci-fi empress of some galaxy weird political thing. I don't know. But they've obviously gone, okay, so this is the face for the positive posters, the things we want more of, and she's got like a little raised smile and then the unser Land wünscht Fähige, like less migration, she's dropped that corner of her mouth and she's a little bit more like it's just very odd.
So her features harden slightly for the immigration.
So she knows she's serious. I wish they'd just gone for a full-on thumbs up and thumbs down. But honestly, isn't it class to be a populist party in opposition where you can just go, we want more of this. Yeah. But the old parties have done nothing. I'm like,
I know.
Yeah, but you're not going to be fucking able to solve the teacher crisis, you lunatic.
No.
That's a very complex issue.
Exactly.
What are your points? Nothing. You just love Russia.
Well, that's the thing.
That's not a platform.
I mean, this says something about the whole political situation in which we live. I think also in America and globally is the idea that basically anyone who's in opposition automatically has an advantage now in elections because they can just complain and people really respond to people complaining. And it used to be different. There used to be an advantage to being the incumbent, you know?
Well, apparently it's very tied, as I heard on another podcast, it's tied to the economy, isn't it? When things are good, incumbents are in favor because people can go, look, the good times are rolling, let them keep rolling. Yeah. And when they're bad, then people are like, and look, I can kind of understand it, but it's really difficult at the moment. And this is why I've been obviously incredibly harsh on these election posters, but I don't know what you can say as the Green Party or Die Linke now or whatever to kind of galvanize support and like what you do in the face of just this extreme populism, which is just swelling everywhere, this huge tide. And like, you know, studies have shown that like, even if people think, oh, that's not really true, the more times you're told it, the more you believe it. Like, it's so hard to counter it when it's everywhere. And I don't know how you do that when you're not really able to lie because of your And also when you're incumbent, I don't know, maybe they'll get in, they'll burn themselves out. Friedrich Merz will show himself to be an absolute loser who can't do anything and won't be able to miraculously solve the economy.
No.
But oh, the damage they'll do to people in the meantime. Oh, God.
I mean, that's what they said about Hitler. They said, we'll just let him try for a bit, and I'm sure he'll fuck it up because he's an idiot. And
the thing is, like that, it only lasted 15 years, and look what they managed to do.
Yeah.
Like less than 12 years.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, fucking hell. Like, I feel insane. Like, I went into school this morning in the staff room and I was like, we all need to, like, does everyone have their get out plan? And I feel like a crazy person. But maybe, expect the worst, hope for the best. It's not over yet. History turns on these weird... The thing is, we always think that something is inevitable or not inevitable. And like they always say, like you look back at history and you think, oh, the fall of the Berlin Wall was inevitable. But it wasn't really. It happened on that weird, and surely the opposite must be true. Like we can see all of these awful warning signs happening and it doesn't have to necessarily be that bad.
No. We still have agency.
Claw it back. We do still have agency.
We've got 2 more parties to do.
Oh!
We haven't got to the end of all the parties.
I've not got enough. I'll have just enough mega. Keep going, because then it's good news and we don't need mega cans.
So we've got Die Linke and the CDU next.
Okay.
The Die Linke, I sent you one that was Die Silberlocken Rocken.
Oh, Christ, yeah, I ran past that the other day.
Which is... So the Linke, normally most of the Linke things are like, they're very text heavy, the Linke posters, normally.
As anyone who has ever been to a left-wing organised meeting or indeed bought a ticket for the Fusion Festival. Many wonderful things about the left. They are not succinct.
So
fuck me.
Even in their election posters. But they have got one election poster which is just people on it, and and it's 3 people, and it is Dietmar Bartsch, Gregor Gysi, and Bodo Ramelow, the 3 old wise men of the Linke who are still slightly popular. And the reason why they've got these 3 people on their posters because they want them to win them 3 seats in their respective constituencies, which would guarantee the faction representation in Parliament because they need 3 seats and then you get 40 MPs basically. It's a long story. I don't want to go into it, but that's what happens.
Please don't talk about the Überhang mandate or whatever that is. I can't.
So
how many years am I going to do this podcast and resist learning that?
So if you do live in one of their 3 seats, I haven't got in my head which ones are which, but Gregor Gysi's in Treptow-Köpenick.
Yeah, you know that because that's your brother's Wahlkreis, and he loves Gregor Gysi.
And he keeps going on about Gregor Gysi, how much he loves him. And
Bodo Ramelow, don't.
So if you do vote in those places for Die Linke, your vote could actually have disproportionately amount of weight because of the way that German election rules work. But their other posters, it says things that are quite sort of more combative, more sort of class war type stuff. For example, if your shopping is too expensive, then some corporation is making a lot of money. Yeah. And equally, if your rent is too expensive, then some landlord is making a lot of money. Yeah. It's more kind of they're much more kind of very heavy with the old class war rhetoric, as we expect from the Linke.
Yeah, which is probably a smart angle, and this is one that they need to work, but they need to take this away and go and do it for like 10 years, and build back up to and try and not make it also fucking racist and transphobic. Those kids next door, I wonder if people can hear them. They're going off. They're usually nice and quiet, but...
They've had a mega can themselves, but it sounds like...
God, can you imagine a child on a mega can? I quite like this silver locken rockin'. They're not really very silver-haired, I will say that. They should have dyed their hair for...
No, they're quite...
but they look like...
More hairless.
They look like kindly... I hope none of them cancel on themselves. They look like kindly uncles, and they look like the kind of uncle at a big family party that you'd want to go and have a chat with. Friedrich Merz, you want to run a fucking mile from, because he's going to, first of all, not buy you any drinks because you need to pull yourselves up by your bootstraps, and then he's going to shite on about himself for ages and make weird jokes.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of paying for stuff, I went on all the different party websites to like have a, because you can download the posters. So I wanted to check what they had. The CDU ones you have to pay for. They were like, if you want to read our manifesto, it'll cost you $2.50. It was like, what? It was all like you have to buy for
behind a paywall.
They had like a Werbematerial shop you could go to for the CDU. I thought it was really
Mother
funny.
of Christ. Okay, so that's Die Linke.
So that leaves us with the CDU.
Okay.
What posters have you seen of the CDU? The one I've got here.
The one in Pankow has been like I took a picture of it actually.
Uh-huh.
There's like near Pankow train station. There's like I think they must be. It's like billboards, but they're on ground level, like right by some of the big things. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Wait, is that?
So it says, for a country that we can be proud of again, which is the again is
Make Germany great again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's doing, the little shit.
And then there's a kind of quite a smiley. He's not doing cool like FDP. He's doing he's trying to look friendly. So what was your CDU experience?
The one that's on a thing like that you just showed me. It's just been ripped off the thing in Pankow. It's just ripped clean off it with someone's bare hands.
Oh, they didn't draw a Hitler moustache on it or anything like that.
No, but
Right.
I'm just seeing a friend of mine has just texted me. This is live news. I don't know these. There's some like protest. There's a protest happening, I think maybe at the moment, or thing where they've put something up. Looks like a thing of Friedrich Merz. My friends just texted me this.
Oh, that's the CDU headquarters in Berlin. What is this? A protest outside
But
the CDU
it says
headquarters?
Haus des Politikwechsels. But that can't be.
No, but that is what that building is.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. But I
But how have they put that big thing up there? That's cool.
Oh, they've probably naughty protesters doing. They collected.
Nice.
It's like the people who did the projection on the Tesla factory.
Oh, that was also my good news.
Oh yeah, that's good news. Yeah. Should we move on to the good news? 'Cause
Yeah,
we
let's
can-
move on to the good news
Okay.
because I think I have
Okay.
I have 3 pieces if we include that.
Okay.
There's 13,000 people apparently in front of the CDU party thing.
Good.
So, and my friends also like Berliner Polizei will say 300. And also the police were injured. Please.
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
So there's good news. So you want to start with that? Someone projected the image of
So
Musk
someone, and I haven't really followed up on it.
doing the Hitler salute against the Tesla factory. And now,
Konrad, it was actually a Roman salute.
well, you can say that, but let's let the courts decide. And now the German courts have to decide whether that counts as a Nazi symbol or not. Did you hear about this?
No. So basically,
'Cause
Tesla has a big factory, and
Yeah.
then this protest company, did they actually do it? Because last I checked in, they were like, oh, it might have been like AI kind of image.
Well, no, surely they did it.
I'm pretty sure. Let's just say they did. Who fucking cares at this point? We can also be in a post-truth society. It looked nuts. Like this picture on the Tesla factory, which looks very kind of space age anyway, and Musk at the stupid inauguration doing his stupid salute. And they put up this huge, like, beamed up on the side of the factory, Heil Tesla.
Yeah, no, it did definitely happen.
Okay, all right.
I'm looking at a video on a respectable news site
Okay.
right now. It says Heil
Class.
Tesla. They did a very good job at copying the font of Tesla as well. Did you see that?
It's
With the Heil.
beautifully done. It's
They
just
really did it very
you
well.
know when you're like, these people seem competent not just because of what they've done, which is cool, but also the execution was like sharp
Yeah.
as fuck.
And now this is now subject to a German court case because it is illegal in Germany to do a Hitler salute in public, and to do any kind of like Nazi symbols or anything like that. You can get arrested for it. So now the courts will have to decide whether or not that is a Nazi salute or not. So.
But that seems strange because he didn't actually do it in Germany.
No, but the courts will decide. No, he's not the one getting prosecuted. The activists are getting prosecuted.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Yeah. I mean,
That's not good news. Conrad, keep that out. Jesus fucking Christ.
all right. Let's
Right,
do.
good news. Okay.
Well, go on. Do your other one.
No, you had
Oh, I had
renewable energy. Did you, or do we want to end on that?
Yeah, this is just the start of the year. There was a new report from the Federal Network Agency which said that renewable energy accounted for 59% of the country's total electricity generation in 2024, up from 56% in 2023, which
Well
is
done.
so close to 2/3 of Germany's energy is now renewable. Now, let's not forget that the AfD has already said that they want to tear down all the wind farms in Germany. So I guess then if you vote for the AfD, you're in favour of an energy crisis. Okay, yours?
Just don't vote for fucking... Can you imagine anyone who's still listening to our podcast after this time? It's just like...
Actually, they sound quite good. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so in amongst the horrors in the Bundestag this week, they did actually do something quite good. And this had cross-party support. And I think this is also maybe a story about, even though the big hitters in these parties are making fools of themselves or whatever, like there are a lot of politicians who are doing like good things that just never really gets that much media coverage. In Germany, you have a legal right to what's called Mutterschutz, mother protection. So for pregnant people, pregnant women, before the birth of a child and after, you have this, like this is in addition to kind of what's called parental leave. You have this specific thing called Mutterschutz, which is untouchable. I think it's like 8 weeks before, after. I don't really know what the weeks are. And they passed sort of this new legislation is going to pass. It went through the Bundestag this week, where if you have a miscarriage, which is a hugely unspoken about, and that is changing, which is really good. Previously, you were entitled to Mutterschutz, so it was recognized that you went through something as difficult and traumatic and everything or arguably even more so, you could get that after 6 months of pregnancy. And now they have changed it to you have that right to that time off work, no questions asked. You don't have to go and convince your doctor to write you off. That will happen after the 13th week of pregnancy, which is very cool. I'd be interested to know, and I could possibly have done some research, but obviously I didn't, of like if that exists in other countries. But that is like a step in the right direction. Arguably, I think that any kind of miscarriage, even in the first trimester where most of them happen, should have some form of mandatory thing. But a step in the right direction, Germany.
Good.
And I was pleased to read that in amongst all of the thing.
Excellent. That is really good news.
All is not lost.
All is not lost. Well, I think that's us then, isn't it? That was a wild ride.
How long have we been? I'm exhausted. We've done everything. I sort of feel like we should be out protesting. I might try and find a protest to go to this weekend just to be like,
yeah,
fuck you, you fucking fucks.
Everyone can do that. We should all do that.
I really like that it's like outside the CDU headquarters, because it's not a big, AfD is bad, because that kind of feeds into their narrative of, the mainstream are against us. We're this countercultural kind of truth tellers. The CDU are supposed to be centre. And if you've got fucking 13,000 people in front on a Thursday evening, it's bloody cold and wet out there. There's going to be a lot of people within that party fucked off with you. So I hope you have a terrible night's sleep, Friedrich Merz.
I hope he has to sleep in his office because he can't get out of the building.
Exactly.
And then he can't sleep because it's uncomfortable.
He's got one of those little office sofas which just has like wooden arms, so you can't stretch out properly.
Yeah. There you go. That's what I hope to. Okay.
Cool.
Thanks very much.
All right.
It's
nice to be back. It's always nice to be back with you, Konrad.
And likewise.
Take care of yourselves, everyone. It's January's nearly over, but February also, wrap up warm and be kind to yourself.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
German news in English with a cocktail can. The German news, it's quite a test. With Megan's Mega, you're feeling refreshed. Megan's Mega can. German news in English with a cocktail can. Deutsche
the fear.
Yeah.
It's actually it's quite a positive message to give to people.
So.
I like to think that we have quite a positive impact on our listeners.
I hope so.
Because we try and get them to defy the fear of listening to the news all day.
I mean, it's better than reading a German newspaper. Surely.
I would definitely recommend listening to our podcast more than reading any German newspaper.
German newspapers barely have pictures.
No.
Like fucking, it's just a brick of text.
Oh yeah, and they seem to make a virtue of it. They think it's like so great to have no text.
Not like you Americans
pictures.
with your fucking
colour pictures.
decadent pictures in your newspapers.
Yeah,
What's that? A crossword puzzle? Oh, no wonder you had Trump. Jesus Christ, everyone! Like, there's a middle ground.
You have to concentrate on the news. It's very important, and you have to like keep it there.
Just have a mega.
Have a mega. Give us a picture every now and then.
Just a wee picture, maybe a,
yeah,
a diagram.